Thank you for joining me today. I made these. They're a little bit creased because they've been folded up for a few days. I did hang them up in my friend's kitchen, and the grey that I complained about in the original film showed through with her lighting. So my advice to her was, we have another valance to put up, so we'll do it slightly differently. She was thrilled with these, but she's also thrilled with her new ones. So I'm going to upcycle these. I'm going to take them all to pieces and redo them in a slightly different style. So let's get on with it. Now the first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is take this apart. I'm going to unstitch all of the piping, and I'll take all of this apart because I do need the front fabric for Mark II version of the valance. So it'll take me a little while to do. Measure along the outside of here all the way around. I prefer to do it this way and it's more accurate. So it's a yard. I want to add 2 inches per side, so that takes me to 40 inches. And then I want to add 3, 6, 9, 12 per corner. So 2 corners is 24. I need a total width of fabric per valance of at least 64 inches. Here's the original piece that I've just taken off, and I'm going to measure from this end all the way along to make sure that I have at least 64 inches. I should have more than 64 because it did have a centre pleat in it, and that falls to here. I can't have this join here because there's 2 inches into the side hem. Then this would be on the outside and that has to be hidden. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the new lining together and put it in, and then work out where I need to take off the ends. Just as I had for the front, I have cut 3 widths for the lining on the back, and the 3rd width I divided up into 4 pieces. Pop this along here, and I'm going to sew each smaller piece onto the larger pieces. Fold in reverse, and then all the way across. And then the joins should line up on both pieces of fabric. This is the original front. I have pressed out the hem so that it'll be easier to put the new one in. I have 1 seam here, right sides together, with that pressed open. And then if I make my way down here to the other seam, we'll see how close they are. I'm going to even them out, so it might mean that they move slightly. I think they can go out. So I'm going to move this one a little bit off there so it's not quite in line, but it's close enough, and I believe the other side will be about the same on the other side of that seam. Line this up here. I'm more interested in how long the lining is, not how long the outside fabric is, because I'm going to be cutting that back. I'm going to sew this into position all the way across the bottom. Don't need to have forward and back because I'll be folding that round. There's no pressure on that to come undone. The raw sides are together. When I get to the seams, I'm just going to make sure that they both remain open as I sew across them. There we go. The bottom one is open, yeah, and I'll just carry on to the other side of the valance, realigning the fabric as I go and holding it together. I'm going to iron this down because I want the lining to go down inside the hem of this. I'll do that all the way across. So I've just folded the hem in here. I'm going to press that into place. I'm going to try to keep it as even as possible as I go all the way along. You see the seam from the liner and also the seam from the front there. I'm going to keep those parallel. Just press on up. I'm going to cut 2 inches off all the way down here from the outside of the main colour, and I'm cutting down some of the lining as well. So I'll do this all the way down. I'm going to measure over 2 inches here, and then also at the bottom here, so it's in a straight line, and iron into position. This is the side hem. Having done that, fold over and into the centre like that, and press that also into place. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to hand sew the side in. You could machine sew it if you wanted. I just wanted it to have a cleaner look. This should go into the header, so it won't show if I go through to the front. And then I'm just into the lining like that, so it doesn't show on the other side. Come up, and immediately opposite where you come out, go into the top fabric and then down into just the lining. These are about 1/2 inch stitches. They're not holding weight, they're just holding this into position. After 3 or 4 sets of stitches, pull the thread through. I'm going to work my way all the way to the bottom. I've got to the bottom and I'm just going to carry on with loose stitches to the end here. These don't have to be quite so rigid. All it's doing is sealing the end of the side hem. I do it so just in case bugs get up there, but I don't think they would. You never know, I suppose. That is that. I'm going to go into here and then just across. I don't really need to secure it, just so long as there's a long tail that can't just be pulled out, that would be fine. I'm going to measure up from the bottom of the hem there to here to 14 inches and pop a pin in along the top to hold that in place, and I'm going to move it along, seeing as I've got both of those seams quite even, and do the same here as well. That will hold that into position as I work my way across. Now that I've got the side in, I'm just going to work my way along this hem here and press it into place. I have just flipped the fabric over and I'm going to cut down here 2 inches all the way down like I did on the other side hem. I have managed to line up the seams like I did before, and I'm going to turn this over and iron this into place at 2 inches. Measure off the other side too, pull it away from my iron and iron up as evenly as I can. Fold this under and then I'll sew it up just like I did on the other side. This time I'm going to work across the bottom, and you can do it as a running stitch like this. You don't have to do separate stitches, it's just going up the side. I prefer to do separate stitches. I'm using double thread, so sometimes the threads don't want to run evenly to the corner there, and then work my way from the bottom to the top. Nice even stitches and cast off. So I've straightened this out this way, and I am going to measure 14 inches from the base to the top here. I'm going to put pin the end one and here where the pleaters are the most important, because I really want those to be kept in line, and then I'll work my way across the centre of the valance, keeping the hem even. I'm going to steam these out. This is where the centre pleat was. I don't want that showing up. I'm sure she won't be that bothered if it shows a little bit. She's not that fussed about having the pleats ironed into place. Tip this over and I'm going to fold along those pin marks, because that's where I want the top of the valance to come to. Take that one out for now, pull this one into place, replace this pin here and remove this one. I prefer not to iron over the plastic of the pin heads. I'm sure they are meant to be ironed over. I haven't managed to stick any to my iron so far, but I still don't like to do it. Go to the next pin like that, replace this pin and work along the top till I get to the other side. I'm going to mark the centre, but I don't want to cut the front fabric, so I'm going to pull that back slightly and then just put a clip there. Don't want to accidentally make a hole in the front of your fabric. Here's the piping cord. This is the original liner I used on the piping cord. This is the curtain lining, and I took apart the outside of the piping cord I made up, and you can see there is a definite difference in colour. This is a creamier colour, but we're going for the more white clean look, so I'm going to be relining the piping with the curtain lining and the original piping case. Carefully line that up, got all those raw edges more or less together. I'm going to sew down here. As I get to the top of the piping, which is here, I'm going to pull it out slightly so I don't catch anything, and I'm going to even this up all the way down and try to sew it evenly as I make my way to the bottom here. I'm using my zipper foot here, and I'll do the second one exactly the same way. The first thing I'm going to do, hold that there for a moment, is put the ends in. Take that off, line that fold along here to the back of the valance. Come along to the centre here. There's my centre marked there and the centre mark there. Again, the fold that I've ironed in goes along the top here and into place. And now I'll do this end. I'm going to remove this pin. I'm going to pull it out. I'm not pulling it tight across the front here. I don't want it to be really tight, just in place. And again with that fold. And then in here. Pull that out, and this is going to be my new corner, I think. I've got a little bit too much fabric. It'll be fine. I'm going to take this pin out. I'm going to take this pleat from here, because this is the outside here, all the way into here, and then bring it out. So the corner, make sure the bottom is even. Make sure that the fold is there, like that. I'm going to bring that round here. Again, not pulling it tight, I'm just pulling it into place. I'm going to pull this all the way into the corner here and then around to the end. And I can adjust this to come right to the outside edge of there and put that into place. And then the same across the front here. Pull that back and into place. On the others, I've got about 1/2 inch open here, so I'm going to do the same. Fold that into place and secure. Now I'll do the same on the other side. I'm just going to pop the piping on the top. I'm going to take that to the back here, like that. Run the sewing line across the edge of the wood, and I'm going to make my way across the top here. In the corner, I'm just going to fold the top like that and secure. I used to be able to secure these to my workbench, but I don't have a workbench anymore, so I have to make do. Even the top fabric out. I'm reusing the back tacking. It's only there to hold things. It's not to look pretty or anything. And securing that in place as well. Once that's in place, just pull the fabric over to the back and secure the dust cloth along the back edge here. For what I'm doing and where it's going, I really don't need this, but if you were to be able to see down from the top of a set of stairs, then it's really important that you cover the tops of these. And just fold in the ends like that to make those look neat as well. And then everything's hidden. Fold this all in along here, along that edge, and then fold that into there and tack everything down and into place so it looks neat. Tuck away any loose threads. Thank you for joining me on this little remake. This is how they've turned out, and they're light and airy, which is what she was looking for. She just liked the original design with the extra pleats, and when I pointed out to her that if we have a pleat in the centre, you're going to have a dark patch in front of all your windows. I pointed out that this would be better for her, and she agreed. And when I took the interim valance over, she really liked it. So this is what they look like, and she is going to be absolutely thrilled. Yet again, it wasn't that she didn't like them, it was just the colour was wrong. Just remember that if you're working for somebody, their vision and how they explain it to you isn't necessarily the picture that you end up with in your mind. So with two people, you have two different ideas, and usually they come together perfectly. In this case, it was half right, and it's been corrected, so no biggie. 2 films for 1 set of valances. If you've enjoyed this film, please subscribe, hit the bell button, and a few thumbs up would be absolutely brilliant. And in the meantime, take care. See you later. Ciao.